Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
Hi, welcome to the KVJ Atsp podcast.
Kevin's eyes look insane, but he's got new hair. Virginia is a witch, and she farts in her chair. Jason is a spaz who's got an old man's ass. Welcome to the After the Show podcast.
Yeah, here we go. Got still some comments kind of coming in. Right as we wrapped up the regular show today, we were checking out this email we got from a girl named Amber who got proposed to in the 2J's parking lot. And her boyfriend she's like, okay, well, has this been something you've been thinking? He's like, no, it just kind of came to me. And she was just like confused and I think underwhelmed was kind of a lot of it. And maybe she just sensed something that was going on with him where she was just like, I just don't feel like he put a lot of thought into it. And to me, just kind of reading off of her reactions, and it's interesting to see how people are kind of taking what she had to say. To me, I think a lot of people are very flippant about, I can't believe sometimes people that I've seen get married or get into serious relationship situations, they don't think it's, okay, yeah, what the hell? All right. And then they wind up in these disastrous situations where they get financially committed. Sometimes they have kids and then their whole life becomes a mess and they can't figure it all out. I'm like, it's because it's a big decision. Like if you're going to be spending a lot of time with somebody and anchoring yourself down to someone, I would argue it's the most important decision you will make in your life. And it will affect where you're going to go. So don't just be like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever.
Well, I think sometimes people are young maybe, and they think they're in love possibly.
That's
but
true.
I just know a good amount of people that got married to somebody that they didn't really, if you strip it all away, they A, don't have that much in common, and B, they don't really even like each other.
Exactly, yeah. That's it, and that's why I would say, just from her tone, the way she feels about this, because somebody, texted in and said, what a stankin' bitch. Guy poured his heart out to her, and all she said is, wah. And if you love this person, it really doesn't matter how they proposed.
There's going to be some people that believe that. Because what if on his side, he might have botched up the proposal because she didn't like it, but what if he really thought, I'm speaking from the heart right now. It doesn't matter that it's in a Walmart or a 2J's parking lot. I want to marry this woman. What if he thought it was right and he just he swung and missed?
We're here trying to make judgment on the situation where we weren't there to see what was going on and without knowing the context of the relationship. Is she a materialistic, hard to please bitch, or is she a person who just had a little bit of a higher standard, saying, "Look, this is something that's really important. I don't want to feel like this had about as much thought as whether or not you're going to get a Big Mac today for lunch."
Okay,
and to me that's the 2 points of it. And I don't really know.
And did he have a ring? I really think that's important too.
And I'm talking from the side that I'm expecting he put as much thought into this as he did his lunch order today. And if that's the case, I get Amber's point. If she wanted this grandiose thing like that and he didn't deliver that way, then maybe you are a stankin' B and you guys have different expectations on life and you shouldn't be together in the first place.
We need to hear back from Amber.
Yeah.
I want more details.
So whatever the situation is, I don't know what it is, and she probably wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm kind of a bitch. I expected to be on a cruise ship when this happened, or I wanted to be here, or I wanted to be there, I wanted to be a big rock.
Well, earlier we were acting like people can't be that way. Someone can actually really speak from the heart and still be met with, it's not good enough. Sorry, fuckface. I mean, that can happen too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it should be, the manner in which you do it more than, where you decide to do it. It's got to be a feeling. You got to make a connection, and pouring your feelings out. And sometimes you pour your feelings out and the person just doesn't feel the same way about you. And you're like going, I really want to marry you. You're like going, sorry.
But if you know your girl wants to have a romantic moment because she's a romantic girl, and hopefully you know that about her, and you do it on a whim in a parking lot and you kind of don't put any thought into it, I mean, it's not really setting yourself up for impressing her. And shouldn't you want to impress her with your proposal?
A lot of life is effort. And, I sometimes will judge people's effort over the outcome. because I'm like, you know what? They tried as hard as they could. And so I will give you a lot of credit to that.
He didn't try.
That's what I don't know. And I'm going from the angle that I feel like he did not try, because the tone in which she wrote that email, I feel like that's ultimately what it was, that she's judging him on his effort, and she didn't feel like he put a lot of effort into it. So that's the question. Was it effort or was it outcome?
Well, one thing's for sure. Marriage just sounds like so much fun.
It's great. It's great if you do it right and you find the right person and everything goes. But
why does everybody who say they love marriage,
it.
why do they always look like they're in a lot of pain when they say, oh, marriage is awesome?
When you make that face, you're like, oh, yeah, you should get married. It always looks like you're constipated.
Yeah, why is that? You're telling me it's awesome, but your body's doing something way different.
I'm not telling you it's awesome.
Honesty. I like it.
I told Magnolia the other day, I'm like, you don't need to get married. I don't think this institution is necessarily for everybody. Why can't you just live with somebody and figure it out?
Oh, I don't think marriage is for everybody. And I sometimes people get mad at me because I'm like, oh, marriage sucks. I'm just kidding. Because I think if you find the right person and you do marry your best friend, I think marriage is the best thing ever. I mean, that's what we all, that sounds awesome. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fucking bullshit that I'm talking about, which is like, 65.
You're probably going to probably see less of it. I mean, the reason why we've done marriage is because it was just a tradition. And
right.
it, is based in religious institutions, and less people are going to church now than they ever have before. And so, religion is dropping off in America. So you'll probably see less and less people getting married. I think the one thing about it is sometimes you want some type of financial protections based on how the situation works out. And that could be on either partner saying, hey, I'm staying home, or I'm, putting my career on pause. The other person's career takes off, and then your arrangement doesn't work out. And that could happen married or not.
Sure.
Where you want some type of protections to say, okay, I am going to draw back on my career, but if you screw me later and you take off on your own with somebody else, I'm not going to have built up the same kind of career, the ability to make the same kind of income as you.
It's just a lot easier to get out of a situation when it goes bad, and most relationships do, if you're not married.
You just gotta compliment each other's moods, whatever that means to you. I don't think I compliment people's moods. Or maybe they don't call. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Mood. It's like just people have certain moods.
Hey, you look really angry today.
No, just some people have a vibe and certain ways and quirks about them, and you just have to match with somebody where your quirks and their quirks kind of you see what I'm saying?
Sure.
They have to go together. They got to complement each other, not take away.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can't be annoyed by all the little things
Exactly.
either. And if you are, it's really a messed up place to live.
That's what I mean. I think you got to be with somebody, even if they're doing something you don't agree with or like. It can't be that kind of annoyance to where you're like, oh, fuck you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that kind of thing. And I think that's hard.
One good thing that I will tell you that I think where marriage is good is that it does bind you into a commitment, because it's not easy legally to get divorced and to go through all that. And I think there are times, probably with any marriage, there's a time where you would have been like, I want to get out. Like, I'm just out. Like, I would pack up, I'd leave. I know the Queen and I, we've had moments where it's like, I'm out the door. I'm looking for a place to go. But, there are times, though, by having that, though, that you realize it would be tough to get out of it, that it does kind of bring us back. And we ebb and flow. We go through periods where things are awesome. I kind of realized that I had to tweak up my schedule, and we're spending time together during the weeknights. Things are going great. And I realized, just thinking this morning, I'm like she really is my best friend. I love hanging out with her. I love talking, and we have a great time connecting. So things are good. But there are other times I'm going, why did I ever marry this woman? What the hell was wrong with me? And it will go through cycles like that. But ultimately, the fact that I realized it would be a real pain in the ass, and it would drop a bomb on my life to get divorced,
but to me,
that I stay in it.
But that's different than staying in it because you love somebody. You're staying in it because you don't want to get shit fucked up. There's so much stuff that your life is going to go upside down. And I think some people do stay in relationships, not because they're necessarily, oh, I love you, I'd die for you, but because, shit, I don't want to lose my money. I don't want to lose my house.
It does for a lot of people, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why I'm saying I think it's the most important decision you'll make in your life. Because it really can wreck your life to get out of a marriage. So think really hard and know, I'm fine with that spontaneity of like, I've got a ring or I want to do it right. I've been thinking about this for a while, and 2J's parking lot just spoke to me and this is the time for me to do it, that's fine if that was it. You know, if you're really committed and saying this is the person I want to be with and whatever. But if you're like, you came back and be going, we had a great lunch. Fuck it, let's get married. You know,
Yeah,
that may or may not be, you know, the best thing. And then you change your mind 30 minutes later. So
And think about this too. I mean, you could marry somebody and you guys could be happy, and then all of a sudden they could flip on you and change.
That's a fear of mine. That really is a fear of mine, to be so in something where, like you're talking, Kev, you're locked in by law now. And I've just seen it happen so many times where people do change, and it happens. People fucking change, man.
People change. Mental illness can step in.
Yeah.
A lot of
You
stuff
can have all
happen.
kinds of things. People's jobs and careers can change, and then that can change who they are as a person. And now you're married to them, and you're like, who are you?
I think it just ride or die. You want someone that's going to be a ride or die that you can trust.
you do, yeah, loyalty.
That's what you want. Trust, to me, throw everything away. You got to be able to trust somebody, and they got to be able to trust you and have your back, even on your both darkest days against each other. You know you'll never fuck each other over. Now that is marriage, in my opinion.
Well, I think you should go through and check off the boxes to say, okay, and character really needs to be the biggest part of it. Megan's saying, yeah, my first marriage, I married him because I thought he was hot, and all we did was fight. And, you know, that's emotions and hormones and stuff like that making your decisions, and it shouldn't. It should be, do I have an honest person with good character? Do we laugh a lot? Do we have a really good time? If I weren't with them, could I spend my life without them? And if you're like, oh, gosh, I couldn't imagine my life without them, then there's probably a chance that maybe you should, you know, yoke up and make it happen.
And the looks thing, too, it might be a young person's game.
That stuff does fade.
Well, it
You don't think you
fades,
ever hit your
yeah.
40s, but you do hit your 40s and it becomes tough. And people change and they don't have the same
Well,
beauty.
Think about just in your 60s, your 70s, you want someone that you're going to be able to Connect 4 with and have fun, watch cozy movies with, eat pizza. You know, at that point, you're both going to be so gross.
Yes.
Disgusting.
Yeah, just eat pizza and get fat together. I'm kidding, kind of.
Well, we did a raise your hand poll on the show earlier today. And I got some of the results from that, if you listened. Talking about sex dreams or fantasies about a coworker. We had 2 out of 5 members raise their hand on that. Now, was it a dream or a fantasy?
Dream for me.
Mine was a dream, yeah.
They say that's usually that thing where it's a power dream and you wish that you had the characteristics of that person.
No, I think mine was purely carnal.
Oh, really?
Mine was not carnal. Mine was sweet.
Mine was sweet with
Okay.
a bit of carnal. No, it was definitely it was like I was into it.
Yeah, you were.
It wasn't like this subliminal thing. Oh, you want this person's position?
Can you say what department? Programming, promotion, sales,
programming?
management. Okay, all right.
I've already said too much.
Virginia, did you have a department?
Programming, yeah.
It was me. Damn it, again, Virginia.
It's not you. I would tell you if it was
know,
you.
I know.
I would. It was weird.
Have you ever gossiped about another show member to someone outside the show?
Yes.
Now, here's the one thing, and I think there's a difference because, you know, we said it, I didn't, you know, we were going through it, I didn't want to spend a ton of time on it, but do you think there is a difference between venting and gossiping?
Yes, there is.
I agree.
Venting's necessary. Gossiping, you can curtail that.
Yes. So it was kind of a weird thing, and I did raise my hand on that. But I try to be very careful to not gossip. To say I never have, it'd be a lie, and I haven't. I probably will again. But I always try to watch, and I always ask myself, is what you're saying constructive, or are you saying this, you know, are you being kind of evil and spread it? Because to me, gossiping isn't, you know, you're just trying to like spread something to maybe, and it's usually tearing down somebody's, you're tearing down the person by spreading a story or passing on a story.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit when I had done it, and it was a long time ago, and it was when we had problems on the show, and me and Virginia didn't get along, and that caused a problem with all of us. I mean, I'm not blaming Virginia, but we had Mariana on the show. It caused tension with everybody on the show, and I remember drinking and gossiping and saying some shit about Virginia to some of my friends because I was pissed off at her, and I openly admit that. But I don't do that anymore, though, because, like you're saying, it's not productive, and I was real drunk when I was saying it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that venting definitely,
Yeah.
But the only person that I would really talk to, I guess, would be Panda.
Now
Like,
in your life.
I wouldn't go to my friends and like
Yeah.
talk shit about you guys.
Well,
Like,
this was in 2004.
I always try to have united front, even if shit's falling apart, even if shit is bad, and even if we were all
Yeah.
infighting. I wouldn't tell people that because I always try to put up the appearance that everything is great, everything is fine.
United Front. Yeah, what we do here and what KVJ is, it really is it's almost like a marriage, like a family kind of thing, the same way we're talking about that. And you would be very careful about talking shit about your spouse to somebody just flippantly like that. And I feel kind of the same way about this, where it's like,
It's a nest.
yeah.
Now it's, I mean, especially back then, I didn't know what this shit was going on. I really had no idea how to handle this job.
And you were being manipulated.
Well, I don't want to get into any of that. It's like, can we just let that go?
You brought it up, motherfucker.
Well, I was being honest. This is
You
the nest.
reminded me and then got me all pissed off.
Well, I love
I was over here happy.
Oh, I love you so much now. That was 15, almost 16 years ago.
It was a
man.
while
True.
ago, yeah.
I mean,
And when
that-
you think about fights you've had 15 years ago, like, yeah, they don't matter.
Well, I mean, it was dumb. But back in the day, though, I didn't know how to handle some of your zingers too on the air. And behind the scenes too, there was a faction. It was me and Mariana, and I was guilt by being with Mariana, and me and you weren't at peace with each other. So if you would say something on the air, I'm like, is that a fucking dig at me? And
Yeah.
I didn't know how to handle. I mean, I didn't know how to handle
Well, I
it.
think it was over the break. Jaber and I were kind of looking back at some, old ideas, saying, "Okay, is this something we could bring back?" And I looked down, like, Super Soaker trivia. We haven't done that for what, 16 years? And he's like, "Remember, that's what started the whole thing." I'm like, "That's right," because I had no idea what was going on. As usual, my head's just down, and I'm going through just trying to, come up with shit for the show.
That was
There's
the
a volcano literally rumbling, and Kevin's like obliv.
No idea. So I send Virginia and Jaybird and Mariana out back with Super Soakers, and if they miss a trivia question, they're supposed to hit each other with the Super Soakers. And I noticed somehow, because I couldn't see you, but I was hearing it, that as things started happening, like it was sounding like it was getting very personal, and it was getting awkward and uncomfortable. And I'm like, what is going on out here?
That's the show. That was the beginning of all of the drama. That show right there. Virginia then turned on me. Marianne, it's like everyone turned on each other. Kevin's like, what the shit's going on?
What just happened in this bit? I had no idea when you guys all walked out back that there was any kind of problems whatsoever. When you all came back in, I'm like, what's going on?
This is awkward.
That was the beginning. That ended up getting us all into group therapy for one session.
Yeah.
And I would pay top money to have that thing on, just to broadcast.
Because at the end, he just said, we are
The therapist quit.
Yeah. He said, we are at what you call gridlock, and
It's an impasse.
no progress will be made. Yeah, we're at an impasse. This is not happening. Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
But honestly, I look back at some of that stuff, and I think that that made me and you stronger with our relationship.
Definitely.
Because if you can survive something like that, and then work with, and I mean, you're one of my best friends in the world. I introduced you to one of my best friends.
Definitely.
You've been at every like my mom died. You were at every major moment in my life, so you are one of my best friends. But the fact that you could survive something like that, I think that is a good thing.
I agree. And it means that at the core of it, that you and we really didn't have drama.
No, we really didn't.
We really didn't. It was all kind of outside forces making drama, and there was no drama there.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are cool.
It really wasn't.
Okay, we also asked in the Raise Your Hand poll, who's cried in the last week? We had 40% on that. What I believe is Virginia and Jaybird.
You know, I kind of missed, but I didn't realize it was so late into January. I cried during the holidays a little bit, just missing my mom and Ann.
Yeah.
And that's what I was probably crying. That is
That
what I
makes
was
sense.
crying about. So,
Yeah.
but that was not in the last week. So I kind of missed.
Were you alone at home?
I spent a good amount of time alone during the break. I was going to go to Oregon, but I kind of needed that time to. Sometimes you need to be alone to work shit out, and that's what I did. I kind of did a Yoda and went out to Dagobah system and worked on some shit on my own, and I feel good about that.
I got a little choked up towards the end of the Star Wars movie.
Did you?
We're trying to have a serious conversation,
I'm
Kevin.
serious. I was like, I thought, you get that little knot in your throat.
What part? The fact they fucked it up so bad?
No, it was at the end. Yeah, I don't want to give away any kind of like spoilers, but there was something. They actually made it somewhat emotional, and then they blew it. I couldn't believe it. I got emotional and like going, wait, what? I actually started to care about these people, and then you did this.
Oh, I know what part you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, right? I'm like,
yeah.
wait, why did we just do that? That was terrible. Virginia, what was it you were crying about?
I cried in the Superdome.
You did?
Oh, no.
Yeah, and not for the reason you think. So
okay.
I did not cry at the end of the Saints game when they lost. I was just pissed then, and I was just drunk and but I cried actually walking into the Superdome with my sister and like walking around and like because I can remember going there as a child and like they have these ramps on the inside and the ramps used to be carpeted.
Okay.
And I can remember as a little kid running down them and like just all these memories came flooding back and I was just overwhelmed. And I'm like, now I'm here with my sister. I haven't been in the Superdome in like 10 years and I was just overwhelmed.
That's cool though.
It was cool.
Yeah, that's, you know.
I was happy crying.
Yes.
And then I cried again when they were doing the national anthem and they put that thing up about that girl that had died. There was a sideline reporter that died in a plane crash over the holidays. And she was a LSU reporter and she was a Saints reporter and she worked for one of the local TV stations.
Yeah.
But she was so young and so beautiful. And
She was on her way to the game in a private plane. The plane crashed.
She was on her way to the LSU game and the plane crashed and it was horrible. And they put her picture up. I started crying a little bit then too.
Yeah.
I almost started crying when I was reading about the fires in Australia and how many animals they killed.
It's a sad situation,
I didn't cry, but I kind of got choked up a little bit just reading about that.
It is
So
very
how
sad
frightened they
situation.
must have been and scared.
Terrible.
Yeah. No, it's been the photos that you see out of there definitely will get you going. Blake had actually asked a question. Can you guys share your opinions on the new Star Wars movie in the ATS? I'll keep mine pretty quick. Yeah, I told you I got emotional, and then to me they blew it. Unnecessary. Shortest thing I'll say about all the extra Star Wars movies. Just watch the original trilogy, and then you can add in Rogue One, and that's all you need. To me, that's the only 4 that exist. Jaybird?
It was better than the last one that I hated so much. It really was a little bit better than that one. It's just not my. It's not my franchise anymore.
It was not needed.
I've never been a fan of the new characters. I don't love Poe. I don't love Rey. I just don't love them. And I feel like it's been terrible writing. And this last movie was really, really busy. Very busy. But it was better. And they tried. You know.
But I don't feel any special emotional connection to them.
It's one of those movies where I always loved going back and rewatching Star Wars movies. I have zero desire ever to watch that movie again.
The Guardians of the Galaxy movies are better now than the newer Star Wars.
Well, because the new Star Wars movies are kind of like the Guardians of the Galaxy.
But Guardians of the Galaxy are funny.
That's what they try to do with Star Wars, too.
It wasn't.
All right, Virginia, your opinion?
Okay.
I'll defer to you.
From the Raise Your Hand poll, we believed in God, and we asked, have you ever hooked up with a listener after an event? I think I raised my hand. Jaybird raised his hand. Mine was a while ago, needless to say.
Hopefully.
Yes. Yes.
Otherwise, you may not want to talk about it.
I was in Fresno back in the day, and I was at kind of a bar event. And
it happens.
Yeah, a girl kind of cornered me and asked for a ride home, and
she got one.
Yeah.
I love when Ralston talks dirty.
Yes. So, yes. But it's been a while. Jaybird, yours?
I mean, I've been single my whole time. I've pretty much been on this show, of course.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything recent?
No, not recent. And I wouldn't fucking tell you fuckers anyway.
Any holiday lip lock?
No, I can honestly say I'm extraordinarily single right now. I'm not talking with anybody.
Well, the other Jason sent an email, and he said, good morning, all. I couldn't believe how lonely Jason really is until you read his Google searches. Good old Texerado Longhand is back and put an SPF 40 on his penis. I thank God that Virginia is on the case and getting to the bottom of Jason's love life. Virginia, a lot of people are saying that the reason Jason is single is because the puppet master won't allow him to marry. Apparently, having 3 married hosts doesn't make for interesting content. Any truth to that rumor?
I mean,
that's good.
That is a wonderful speculation.
Riggy is back.
Yep.
He's rigging my life.
I don't want him to get married either. I think he's more fun single. He's more interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have nothing to worry about, pumpkin.
I would like to know more of what he's diddling on the weekends, but you know,
I'm being a big.
he's very, very secretive.
People get really, really mad about me being secretive, and I don't remember me being that. The only time I was secretive is when I dated someone a year ago.
That's being secretive.
Well, I did that to be respectful for her family.
Yes.
But I think I've always been honest. I mean, I would totally tell you if I hooked up with anybody or did anything over the break. I swear to you I didn't.
Well, a man can only go so long. And so I know how you operate.
You know nothing.
I know that you can be a sexual camel for about 3.5 months.
That's not true.
And then you start sniffing around.
Get out of here. I do that.
So, what is our time frame we're currently working with? How far into the 3.5 months are we on January 9th?
First of all, Saniki, you don't know my game. Second of all, you need to change that 1989 Bobby Brown shirt.
This is a brand new sweater.
You need
and
to start doing
so
the Roger Rabbit.
Love this sweater.
You know nothing.
Are you having any cocktails yet, Jaybird? I know you kind of took a little bit of a break from the booze after Thanksgiving.
I have not had a cocktail since Thanksgiving. I haven't had no alcohol since Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that are kind of laying it up. Have you heard of the dry January concept?
I have.
Yeah, so apparently, a lot of people with the holiday parties and just weight and everything else, they kind of say, I'm taking January off. And it's for multiple reasons. One, to give your liver a break, and also for money, too. Some say they go out less when they drink and they get a healthier diet and, more consistent bedtimes. They kind of just, hit the reset. And they also say 81% of millennials in the survey they had take a break because they realized how much money they were spending on booze. They say they spend an average of $300 a month on alcohol for millennials. Gen Xers only spend about half as much. So dry January's got a couple purposes. So that's what people are doing with that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't sworn off drinking or anything. It's not like if you see me with a beer, hey, you fucking drinking, you liar. I just haven't drank since Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
sometimes you need to hit a reset button.
Yeah, I do. I'll do that. I'll maybe either stop drinking for a while or I'll put a certain alcohol on the shelf. Like, for me right now, I just laying off the craft beers and beers just because of the added carbs, calories, sugars, things like that. I just one day realized I'm like, man, I am slowly getting fat.
Yeah, and I was drinking at the wrong time, so I was doing some sad drinking. It wasn't, and I knew that. I knew I just got to hit the reset button.
Sometimes you get in the habit, like you're saying, you're having a nightcap, and I've been in that point too, where if it becomes routine, you wind up and you go home. Like when we were in Miami, and I was so stressed, I just every night I would have a big old tall glass of vodka cranberry. Yeah, and that became the routine every night.
Real light on the cranberry.
Every night I was doing that.
And if you got bad anxiety or any kind of anxiety, and that makes you feel a little bit better, it's easy to.
So when it becomes the norm, then you start to get destructive and things are happening. I put vodka on the shelf for a couple years.
Sure.
And it's back, though.
Oh, she always comes back.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's another thing that people are doing in January, veganuary.
Oh, fuck.
Yes, veganism. The thought is that you try eating a plant-based diet in January. The habit just might stick. Is what's out there.
I only dropped the F-bomb because Denny's again today got so much hate calls when we started talking about plant-based shit again.
And what is their problems?
They think we're being like liberals or something. We're pushing an agenda. That he gets that comment a lot.
It's an association. It's and that's why to me I don't like putting people in a box because you should be able to have different. Like you may be able to have it like a diet like that for some reason is left wing, that's liberal, it's whatever, and it's the profile of a person.
You can't be a Republican and be vegan.
Apparently not.
Of course
you have to. If you're Republican, you have to have steak at every meal.
So
an animal
stupid.
has to have died for you to be able to have any nourishment.
Denny's will get that too about when he talks about smoking weed. Oh, you damn left wing! Like you don't think the Republicans smoke weed too? Of course, that happens.
It is. It's really stupid.
People are just so ready to be mad.
And people are people. As soon as you start to put them in a box, you're gonna fuck up because everyone's gonna be slightly different a little bit.
To me, I always love to run into a person that has a lot of interesting characteristics where they don't fit into a mold. They don't fit into the box. Be like, oh, that's interesting. you kind of break that norm. That's great.
I think that's cool.
Yeah, I'm always like intrigued. In fact, that stands out. Like, how did that happen?
You're in PETA, but you wear fur. Well, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Come tell me your story.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you. You got something to say.
You're wearing a fur coat and you got a PETA meeting.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. So I like a little bit something different. So, yeah, it's out there. I don't know why people get so upset.
I don't need, but that's what it always kind of comes back to. I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't know. It's agenda-based.
We're all riled up.
Yeah.
We
I don't
are.
like being riled up.
I don't like being riled up either. I like getting riled up about stupid. What's the best cheese in the world? Hot dog's
Right.
not a sandwich. Like goofy shit like that. I don't like people being all moody and edgy and mad.
Takes all the fun out of life.
It really does.
Yes, it does. A couple nice little emails here. Thank you to Alicia. She said, thank you so much for this morning's birthday wish for my son, Charlie.
Aww.
We got to hear it before I took him to school. You should have seen the smile on his face.
How cute.
It was awesome. That's cool. That's why we do that. We love that. And Caitlin sent a nice little email. Said, thanks for the laugh today. My friend had passed away in July due to lung cancer, and today was her birthday, and so I needed to laugh. So thanks for that. So that's what we love to hear. We're glad the show is here to do that stuff for you. So thank you very much. Got an email you want to send to us? You can. Mail at kvjshow.com. mail at kvjshow.com. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Later.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems, ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.